live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Welcome to Ticket Weeknights
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the very first episode of Women's Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Sarah Pearson, and I am very excited to be on the air with you starting on Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. You'll be regularly seeing me. First episode, we've got a little pre-recording, but in the future, you can tune in live on The Ticket from 8 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Sarah. I'm a UNL sports media broadcasting student. I'm a senior getting ready to graduate in May, which is hard to believe, but yeah, if my voice sounds familiar, you may have heard me on The Drive occasionally. I run the board for them Friday mornings, but yeah, excited to have a show of my own, and let's just dive right into the content here. So if anyone knows me, even in the slightest, they know that I am a volleyball diehard aficionado, whatever word you'd like to use. Husker volleyball is my life. And so that's what I thought I would start off by talking a little bit about here today. The volleyball season ended about a month ago, and I finally feel that I'm at a point where I can talk about it and not be sad. So, yeah, I'm just going to recap the season here a little bit. So, Nebraska volleyball, we ended at 33-3 overall, tied for the second most wins in program history since volleyball became a sport in 1981. And we also posted a top 5 finish for the 7th time in the past 10 seasons. So, another dominating year for Nebraska volleyball. Unfortunately, it did not end the way we would have hoped, as they lost in the semifinals to Penn State. But despite the loss, still overall a very good year for Nebraska volleyball. We became Big Ten champs back-to-back, so that was definitely very exciting. And another cool thing that happened was our libero, Lexi Rodriguez. She became the all-time digs leader at Nebraska. She passed Justine Wongerantes, who previously held the record at 1890. She went up to 1897. So now Lexi sits at all-time number 1 at Nebraska. So a great way to end her career. And you can still cheer on Lexi and her pro career. She is now with League One Omaha. So very exciting for her to stay in the Cornhusker State and continuing her volleyball career. Another big part of the Nebraska volleyball season was sweeping Wisconsin 3 times. Now, in the past, Nebraska had really struggled against Wisconsin. They've always been a thorn in our side, but finally this year they were able to break through and not only beat Wisconsin 3 times. They always say, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, but Nebraska not only beat Wisconsin 3 times, we swept them 3 times. So that was just really exciting and fun. And as someone who is a diehard of Nebraska volleyball, getting to be there, not only for Wisconsin, but right in the front row, almost every single game was really cool. And sweeping Wisconsin to advance to the Final Four, that couldn't have been the more perfect way to end the season at home. And my career as a student section leader for volleyball, very sad, but overall it was very fun, and I really enjoyed getting to do that. Something else that was really special this volleyball season, not really highlighted on, I guess, the success of the Huskers themselves, but one thing that really stood out to me, a big moment, was when USC came back to play here in Lincoln. Allie Batenhorst, who played for Nebraska for 4 years, she transferred to USC in the offseason, and coming back home, getting to welcome her back home inside the Devaney. The crowd was absolutely cheering like crazy when she was announced, and we all had signs and everything for her. So that was just really cool to see that. And Obviously, as what happens every year, Nebraska picked up quite a few postseason awards. Lexi Rodriguez was named the Big Ten Libero of the Year. Bergen Riley was named Big Ten Setter of the Year. And we had 5 players make first team All-American. In addition to Rodriguez and Riley, we also had Merritt Beeson. She was second on the team in kills with 2.78%. Andy Jackson, who was third in the team in kills, had 2.62 kills per set. And Harper Murray, first on the team in kills, 3.40 kills per set. And Nebraska's 5 players chosen for first team was the most that they have ever had, and the most for any Big Ten team. And then it was also the most that Nebraska's ever had since they joined the Big Ten in 2011. And so, yeah, it was a really great year for Nebraska volleyball overall in 2024. Very exciting, very fun. And they have a lot to look forward to in the season ahead. Now, in the 2025 season ahead, the Huskers do return 4 starters in Harper Murray, Andy Jackson, Rebecca Alec, and Bergen Riley. They do lose Merritt Beeson and Lexi Rodriguez, so those will be some very big shoes to fill. But I think with the incoming freshman class that the Huskers will be able to fill those spots with some great talent. Now, Lexi Rodriguez, very, the best to ever wear a libero jersey at Nebraska. So it's going to be very tough to fill her shoes. You can't replace. We will not use the word replace. She cannot be replaced. But someone new is going to have to step in at the libero position. And I really think who's going to get the nod at libero for Nebraska, it's going to be freshman Olivia Malk. She came in as a freshman. She averaged 1.61 digs per set, and she just absolutely balled out. As a freshman, coming from a smaller town in Bennington, people probably weren't really expecting her to play and make such an impact quite right away. But she came in and just absolutely, she did not play like a freshman at all. She played like a veteran out there, and I think that she's going to get the nod. Lainey Choboy has another year of experience, but she only played a few rotations. So I really think that Olivia Malk's going to get the nod at libero in 2025. But we will see what the future holds in that position. Another battle for positions this year, this coming season, is going to be on the right side. Nebraska volleyball really only had one right side last year in Merritt Beeson. There was no one to back her up. And I really feel like that was one struggle that they did have, was when Beeson was struggling, they had no one to come in and replace her. So that's definitely going to be a key for head coach John Cook in the offseason, is to lock down the right side position. Because obviously you're going to need to figure out who you're starting, and then you're going to need a backup, because last year we had no backup at that position. And it really could be a mix of a few different things. We could have some of the freshmen coming in playing right away, or maybe perhaps we'll see some position changes. We had such depth in the outsides last season that I think Coach Cook can consider maybe moving some of those some of those outsides over to right side, just with the amount of depth we have at outside. Like last year we saw in the past, Lindsay Krause had played right side and she moved to outside. So position changes definitely are a thing that John Cook needs to consider coming into the upcoming season. But the freshman class coming in, we are going to be locked and loaded once again, gaining one player at each position, which is something that really Nebraska needed. So I want to start by going through a little bit of these new players that are coming into Nebraska. So first off, we've got Campbell Flynn. She's a 6'3" setter out of Oakland, Michigan. played for Legacy Volleyball Club. That is also the same club that Harper Murray played at. So I don't know what's going on at Legacy, but they're definitely building a legacy because that club has produced some incredible volleyball talent. And Flynn coming in, she was named 2-time Michigan Gatorade Player of the Year in back-to-back seasons. And Flynn is also, it was recently announced that she was named the National Gatorade Player of the Year. So the best high school volleyball player in the entire country. So that was definitely a huge get for Coach John Cook. And it'll be interesting to see if Flynn will train as a backup setter to Bergen Riley, because obviously no one's taking her position. She's got that locked down the next 2 years. So it'll be interesting to see where she kind of fits in, if she's just going to be that backup setter and kind of coming into that serving role like we saw with Kennedy Orr this past season, or maybe with the lack of depth at right side, maybe Campbell Flynn might come in and play. It'll be interesting to see, but also another choice for that right side position will be Ryan Hunter. She comes in as a 6'2" opposite out of Charlotte, North Carolina. She averaged 4.3 kills per set and hit .317 during the North Carolina State Tournament. And she was also, she struggled with her injury throughout her career. Her senior year, she was limited, couldn't play to a torn ACL, so she might still be recovering from that. I don't know. I do not have deep insight on all the background information. But if Hunter is healthy, it'll be interesting to see if she is able to come in as a freshman and get that starting spot. But I think another player that really could maybe come in and play that right side position is Skylar Pierce. She redshirted last season, so she has a whole year of training in Nebraska's gym under her belt. But she did come in as an outside recruit. But with Harper Murray, already locked down in that outside one spot, it'll be interesting to see if Pierce maybe kind of battles with Taylor Landfair for that second outside spot, or maybe we could see her jumping into the right side position if Hunter is not as healthy as John Cook would like. So that'll be interesting to see, really. So that's really the battle that we're looking forward to this season. Right side and libero, I think, our starting middles in Rebecca Ellick and Andy Jackson, that's locked down. Like I mentioned, Harper Murray, her position's locked down along with Bergen Riley. So we will see who will come in and take that right side spot. We also have a few more freshmen incoming. All these freshmen will be here in just a couple of weeks. Or I should say, they're probably already here. Classes start Tuesday, which hard to believe. But anyway, let's dive back into the freshmen. So another freshman coming in, Carrie Leinbach. She's DS libero out of Lincoln. She won 4 state championships at Lincoln Lutheran. And I had the honor of being courtside, shooting state championships at volleyball. And Leinbach, she is really good. Also, that's one thing Nebraska really does well, is have depth in the back row. Like they always say, defense wins championships, and that's something that Nebraska has really done a great job of in recruiting the back row. And another player who really didn't get a lot of playing time last season is someone who I would love to see step in and get some more playing time in the back row. It's going to be hard with all the depth Nebraska has, but Macy Boseger. And John Cook has said before that she has one of the toughest serves in the gym, but we've just never really seen her take the court unless, Nebraska is up by quite a bit. So she's another player that can maybe come in and battle for some playing time. She's a senior. She's probably motivated and hoping to get in and get some playing time. So we really have 4 solid players in the back row, really fighting for 2 or 3 spots. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. And Another recruit coming in the freshman class, we've got Manaya Obeche. I think I'm saying that right. Don't worry, I will get that locked down before the season begins. But yeah, she's a 6'3" middle out of Santa Rosa Valley, California. And, something that I thought was really impressive by this entire freshman class, they all have played in the U.S. developmental program. And I think when you have that international experience, it really can help you as a collegiate player. We saw Nebraska's sophomore, now junior class, Harper Murray, Bergen Riley, Andy Jackson. They all played on the U.S. youth national teams, and that's something we've seen also from this freshman class coming in. Oboche played along with Flynn and I think those were the two that have played overseas in the USA development program. Ryan Hunter, she also played in that USA youth national team, winning gold medals for Team USA over the summer. So that's very exciting for Nebraska to continue to get that kind of depth. And I really think with, a program like Nebraska, who wouldn't want to go play at Nebraska, honestly, because they're easily one of the top programs in the country. And so have these players recruited all over the country. And also, I think it's really important to, with Carrie Longenbach, to keep the local products home, because that's something, in the past, sometimes we really haven't had too many players from Nebraska. I believe last year we had Malk, who's from Bennington, Alec is from Waverly, and then pause. We're pausing. And then we also have Macy Bosiger, who's from Firth, Nebraska. So definitely having that local talent is definitely huge to see. And we noticed, I'll get into a little bit more in the second segment, but when hometown players come and play for their home state, Nebraska fans are extremely loud and cheering for them, very excited. So yeah, we have one more player who I haven't mentioned yet, another big recruit out of the freshman class. We've got 6'3" outside Terea Siegler out of Scottsdale, Arizona. She was back-to-back Gatorade Player of the Year in Arizona, and she was ranked as the number 1 overall prospect by PrepDig. So a huge get. Nebraska continuing its trend of landing top-ranked recruits. And Siegler also maybe could battle for that second outside spot. That's something last year Nebraska, we kind of saw a battle back and forth between Krause and Landfair, and neither one of them really were super consistent. So getting a second consistent outside is something that a lot of these players could come in and definitely make an impact. We talked about Skylar Pierce on the outside, and now we've got Siegler. And then also returning Harper Murray. And so the depth is, and along with Taylor Landfair. So definitely a lot of depth once again on the outside position for Nebraska. So yeah, that's a little preview into the 2025 season, along with a little recap of 2024. Once again, congratulations, Nebraska volleyball, on another incredible year. I think that's something that, as a program who's been so dominant, we made it to the national semifinals and everyone was so disappointed. But, a lot of programs would kill to even make the tournament. So saying that we made it to the national semifinals, once again, a very incredible accomplishment. They have nothing to hang their heads about. Overall, having only 3 losses, making it back to the Final Four in back-to-back years, and also getting another Big Ten championship title in one of the toughest conferences in the nation is just incredible. And Nebraska is surely set up for another incredible year in 2025 with what they have coming back and also with what they bring in. So that's going to do it for the first segment. When we come back, I'm going to dive into some Nebraska women's basketball. They have a huge matchup against Iowa tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. I have some sound bites from Coach Williams. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly on Women's Sports Weekly on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's the fall sports season, and that means that the school year is back in session and you're planning road trips for Nebraska football games and following your kids around to their different events. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home so you don't have to worry about your current car struggling through another season. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lake and find your next ride. As your fall schedule gets busy, you'll need a reliable way to get to your destinations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. All right, Rico, let's do the final checklist before we head out. We have a lot of people coming to the tailgate today.
I'm ready.
Burgers?
Check.
Chips?
Check.
Icy cold beer?
Check. Except this one.
I'm forgetting something. Wait a second. Where's the Führer's cheese spread?
I can't stop eating it.
Rico!
Relax. I always pack extra. It's the biggest hit of the tailgate.
For the best appetizer, party dip, and tailgate snack, load up on Führer's cheese spread today in most local grocery stores.
Riddle's Jewelry is excited to be celebrating 65 years. 65 years of so many incredible memories celebrating with each of your special moments. In celebration of the 65th Riddle's Jewelry anniversary, we will be offering up to 40% off all engagement rings and all diamond fashion jewelry. The excitement doesn't stop there. Riddle's Jewelry is also offering 18 months, 0% interest and $0 down financing on all qualifying purchases. Riddle's Jewelry has always been known for incredible customer service, one of the largest selections of engagement rings, and don't forget about the on-site jeweler. Come celebrate with us at Riddle's Jewelry, your one-stop diamond shop with exclusive Levian jewelry, Pandora Charm jewelry, and more. All at Riddle's inside Gateway Mall. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a champ, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. Touchdown! This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Back to the Ticket weeknights
on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Women's Sports Weekly here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm your host, Sarah Pearson. And for our second segment here, I'm going to do a little Nebraska women's basketball. So they've been on a roll lately. They're 13-4 overall, 4-2 in the Big Ten, currently riding a 3-game win streak with wins against Penn State, an upset over number 21, Michigan State, and most recently, their big win over Rutgers on the road on Sunday. Now, Nebraska has had a lot of players really perform well for them this season, but their big leader has been Alexis Markowski. She's a 6'3" senior, averaging 14.4 points per game and 8.4 rebounds per game. And as a senior, she's really provided a lot of leadership for them, both on and off the court. And she's a big part as to why Nebraska has had the year that they've had so far. On Sunday, in Nebraska's win over Rutgers, they took down the Scarlet Knights 69-62. And it was actually a freshman, Britt Prince, leading the way for Nebraska. She had a career-high 24 points, including 10 in the fourth quarter, that helped Nebraska seal the victory. Prince is a 5'11" point guard from Omaha, as averaging 13 points, a little over 4 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. And so that's something that has been really impressive about this Nebraska team is the youth and how much they have really shown up and not played like freshmen at all. Along with Prince, there's been 2 other freshmen who have really provided a lot of depth for this Nebraska team. Amaya Hargrove, She averages 4.6 and 3.2 points per game and rebounds per game, respectively. Also, another freshman, Petra Bojan. She's averaging 5.8 points per game and 3.6 rebounds per game. So for these three freshmen to be able to come in and get not only to get playing time, because, you know, coming into a team like Nebraska, who had a lot of success in the previous years, last year they made the NCAA tournament, to be able to come in and get valuable playing time, and not only to get playing time, but to be able to provide some much-needed depth for this Nebraska team has really been a good thing for Nebraska. You know, they've battled injuries this year. Before the season even started, we lost Natalie Potts with a torn ACL. So she hasn't been able to play all year, which has really been heartbreaking, because last year she was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and she was a huge part as to why Nebraska did make the NCAA tournament. So it has been really tough without her. And then recently, it was announced last night officially that Allison Widener will be out once again for the season, which is just, you can't even really put into words how heartbreaking that is for her, because she's battled injuries throughout her whole career. She was out the last 2 years with torn ACL and is now out yet again. And she recently said, and, you know, in their press conference when they beat Michigan State, she said she was finally starting to feel like her old self. And then to just go down again like that is truly, truly heartbreaking. But despite all the, you know, injuries and everything Nebraska's battled, still fighting their way, showing up, showing out each and every game. And they have a huge task at hand. They take on Iowa tomorrow night at 6 p.m. in Iowa City. And that is going to be a very tough task for Nebraska. And if they can pull out the win, it would be a huge, huge win for this Nebraska team. But, you know, Iowa, they really haven't had the season that they usually do either. They're 12-5 overall, and a huge part of that is the graduation of Caitlin Clark. And I'm sure all Nebraska fans, not just Nebraska fans, but Big Ten fans, basketball fans in general, if you're not a fan of Iowa, you were so glad to see Caitlin Clark graduate, because she, I mean, you got to give credit where credit was due. She was an incredible player, but very annoying for every other team in college basketball. So, you know, Iowa's been struggling a little bit without her. They also lost their head coach, Lisa Pluter. Filling in for her is Jan Jansen, was the assistant coach at Nebraska. But now, the assistant coach at Iowa, now coming in and taking over the Iowa program. A player that has really stepped up in the absence of Caitlin Clark, All-American Lucy Olson. She averages 16.4 points per game and 4.9 assists. But, you know, Iowa's also coming off at a loss to Indiana at home. So they are definitely going to have some vengeance behind them. And Amy Williams spoke last night on the Husker Radio Network Women's Basketball Coaches Show, previewing this matchup against Iowa. So we want to give a huge shout out and courtesy to the Husker Radio Network for these audio clips. And let's just see what Coach Williams had to say about the keys to victory against Iowa.
So what are the keys then in this matchup against Iowa?
Yeah, I think some of the big keys will just be transition defense and our ability to kind of slow them. They play with great pace. They have a lot of different ways they can come at you. Our ability to protect the paint. You know, they've got
3 of their top 4 scorers are post players that are very efficient, scoring. Addison O'Grady is leading the Big Ten Conference in field goal percentage. And so, our ability to just kind of limit and make those paint touches challenging, and then to know personnel and play to their shooters and try to do the best that we can to try to slow that down.
Absolutely. And that was Coach Williams with some keys to victory against Iowa. And, Nebraska is really going to they're going to have to be on their game. Like Coach Williams mentioned, they have a lot of another player who she didn't mention who really made a huge impact for them last year, also going to have a huge impact in this game, is Hannah Stolke. She was really that number 2 leading scorer behind Caitlin Clark last season. So Nebraska is going to have to do a really good job of shutting her down. And also, like Coach Williams mentioned, shutting down their paint. But that's also on the flip side, Nebraska's got to be on in the paint because, as we've seen throughout this season, Alexis Markowski, if she's on, Nebraska's on. If she's off, Nebraska's not having themselves a good night. So she's really that glue that holds Nebraska together. And we saw that in their game against Penn State about a week ago Sunday. I don't remember her name, but they had this really big, tall, like 6'7" player right in the post. And when her and Markowski were in at the same time, Markowski struggled. But when they got her out of the game, they were able to feed Markowski, that's her bread and butter, down there in the post, get it to her, she'll lay it in easily. And so that's also going to come into play tomorrow night if they can get their post players out of the game. That's really going to help out Markowski tremendously. And another player who has really stepped up this year for Nebraska, Jessica Petrie. And here is Coach Williams talking about how she's improved.
How have you seen her just continue to grow and settle into her role? Because it just seems like each time out there, she just gets better and better.
Yeah, I think she's really grown in that. I think the biggest thing is when she just kind of settles in and kind of knows what's expected of her and isn't trying to press too much, then I think she's able to lock in. And the best thing, we've seen her do here lately is she's kind of shifted her focus to thinking, instead of thinking like I have to score points to be able to really impact the game or to really help this team win, but she's really shifted her focus to how can I guard, how can I get rebounds, how can I be, impacting things with hustle plays and loose ball plays. And, I think that has really impacted her game, but also our team.
Absolutely. And that's something that I think is really important for Nebraska to have, is to have those types of players who don't, Petrie, we don't always see it show up in the scoreline, but she's always hustling after every ball and doing really what's needed to get Nebraska the win. And that is something that is really important for any team to have, is to have those unselfish players who don't really care about, themselves or their stat line. They just want to come in and do whatever it takes to get a win for their team. So for having Petrie kind of in that role has really been huge for Nebraska this year. And she has she's been a big part of why they've been successful. Like I mentioned, you can't always see it in the stats, but still a very important part of Nebraska's success nonetheless. And something that we've really seen in the Big Ten season so far is how hard it is to win on the road. Nebraska went on Sunday. That was their first road win of the season. True road win, I should say. They did get a win up in Sioux Falls, but and that's because Nebraska, they're riding a 14-game win streak here at home. So coming into a team's home arena and getting a win is very hard in the Big Ten. And a huge part of that is the environment of the home crowd. Here's Amy Williams on just the environment of Pinnacle Bank Arena and how that's really helped Nebraska this year.
PBA, how helpful is that when you guys have that kind of crowd and to protect that you guys have a streak going now, one of the longest in the Big Ten and the conference, and same thing with the men's side. Just how much of a luxury is that to know you're going to have that night in and night out?
It's really hard to put into words, I think, just how appreciative we are of that fan base that continues to be loud, to come out, to really support us. And, but the way that we feed off that, the way that we build on that, the way that, that helps us in recruiting, the way that it helps us to be able to create that home court advantage. We've been watching our men's team who's had quite the streak of taking care of business at home. And we're like, yeah, let's get a piece of this. And so we want to keep that going as long as we possibly can and really protect our home court.
And Nebraska's done a really great job of protecting their home court this year. Also last year too, this game against Iowa tomorrow night, Nebraska, they've got the momentum. They beat Iowa last year on their home court. They had an 82-79 victory over the Hawkeyes last year. And I was absolutely honored to be there covering that game against Iowa. The atmosphere was just absolutely incredible. I remember walking across the Lincoln Bridge, and the Iowa fans were just all lined up. It was insane. And some of them were saying that they got there at like 4 a.m. ESPN was there. Everybody thought Caitlin Clark was going to break the record, but Nebraska was able to show up and shut her down, held her to 0 points in the fourth quarter, and ultimately pulled away with the victory. And, the amount of people there was insane. I was with the media, but I didn't even have a seat. I literally stood the entire game because there was nowhere for me to sit down. But that was just absolutely incredible. And then just to see them storming the court after Nebraska won, we saw that quite a few times with the men last year, but to see the women able to have that moment was really, really cool. Unfortunately, I did not have the camera and I wasn't down on the court when that happened, but just to be there in that atmosphere during that game was absolutely incredible. And it should be another great win for Nebraska tomorrow night against the Hawkeyes. Something that we talked a little bit about was how the freshmen have really made an impact for Nebraska. And, one of those freshmen being Petra Bojan. And that's something we've seen from the last few years. We've seen Nebraska really heavily recruit internationally. We've had the last few years, we've had some players like Jazz Shelley, one of the best on Nebraska's team last year, from Australia. And, in the past, we also had Izzy Bourne from Australia. And so the international recruiting has, I always wonder, what makes you decide to come from all the way across the country to Nebraska, to the middle of nowhere, to play college basketball? But, it's really helped in our favor. And Amy Williams spoke a little bit on Bojan, adjusting the college game. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. And then when one of your freshmen is Petra, who's been playing European basketball, like there's differences there too, just with style of play and the physicality. And I think things, are allowed to be a little more physical here in college women's basketball in America than what most are used to. So I think there is an adjustment period, no doubt, for every high school athlete, and particularly for an international freshman coming in, just the adjustments that need to be made to what they're going to allow to happen in the paint.
That was Amy Williams on Petra Bojan and just what the adjustments really that both freshmen, not only just freshmen, but international players really need to make. And that's something we've seen a lot this year from Nebraska. They have sometimes freshmen come in, they're maybe might play a little timid, but that has absolutely not been the case for the Nebraska freshmen. They've come in and absolutely shown up and shown out. And for Nebraska, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but how hard it is to win on the road in the Big Ten. Coach Williams talked a little bit about that last night. Here's that.
Right, and we'd had some really tough road losses against teams that are ranked in the top 15 in the country, but to prove to ourselves that we can go on the road and be gritty and tough, and they're really hard to come by in the Big Ten Conference. But for us to be able to fight through some adversity and come back and find a way to win on the road, we just felt like just a tough win for our team.
Yeah, that win coming against Rutgers on Sunday afternoon. And, Coach Williams mentioned those games on the road against USC and UCLA. Those were some really tough games for Nebraska. Ultimately did not really go well for them, but I think having that test early on in the season really is going to help Nebraska. They're trying to make it back to the NCAA tournament and make it further. And, in the first half in both of those games, they kept it close. Ultimately, it got out of hand in the second half, but that's also something that this Nebraska team, they need to really play 4 quarters of complete basketball. Sometimes we see them come out and jump out to a 10-0 lead, then they kind of fizzle off, or vice versa. They get down 10-0, but then they start to come back. So ultimately, they really just need to play 4 quarters of complete basketball. They tend to have kind of one quarter where they kind of fall off a little bit. But if Nebraska wants to come in and get a big win on the road against the Hawkeyes, they are going to have to play 4 quarters of complete basketball. And there's one more soundbite that I believe I haven't played yet. I apologize if you've heard it already, but just how hard the Big Ten Conference is, and just the toughness with all these top-ranked teams, like we mentioned. Coach Williams talked a little bit about the toughness of the conference, and here's that for you.
It absolutely does, and when you add 4 of the best teams from the previous Pac-12 into the league, it just it's not getting any easier. It's just there's something crazy like 12 teams in the top 50 in net, and it's going to be a really, really challenging night every single night out in the league. But that's what's exciting about playing in the best league, is just, you got to bring it every day. And I just really believe iron sharpens iron. And if we want to be the best version of ourselves and prepared to make some noise postseason, we have to go get some lessons like we got, and find ways to keep sharpening and getting better and raising the bar for ourselves, and working towards being the best version of ourselves.
And Nebraska will have a huge chance to improve and try and become the best version of themselves when they take on the Hawkeyes. Again, that game is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. in Iowa City. And I believe the game is on BTN. You can double check me on that, but it should be on BTN. So definitely don't miss it. You can watch the Husker women hopefully take down Iowa. Would be back-to-back years that the Huskers have defeated the Hawkeyes, but they've never done it in Iowa City, at least in quite some time. So a huge test ahead for the Huskers. But with that, that's going to wrap it up for the second segment. When we come back for the final segment, let's talk a little pro volleyball. It was opening weekend for both the PVF and LOVB. I had the honor of going to the Omaha Supernovas opening game. But let's dive into that a little bit more. after the break. This is Women's Sports Weekly on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Gentlemen, it's time to elevate your style with something from our men's jewelry and watch collection. Why not treat yourself to the ultimate in luxury? We've got an incredible selection of pre-owned Rolex watches, even those hard-to-find models you've been dreaming of. Whether you're stepping up your game day look or adding a touch of class to everyday wear, our top-tier collection is sure to impress. Stop by Sartor Heyman and discover the perfect piece to reflect your unique style. Until next time, happy shopping, guys.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com. General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping, thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever. Just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Back to the Ticket weeknights
on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the third and final segment of Women's Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Sarah Pearson. And for the final segment, we're going to talk some more volleyball. You know me, I'm a very big volleyball aficionado. But it was the opening weekend for pro volleyball this past weekend. Both the PVF and the newly LOVB Omaha both have teams in these opening leagues, so I just want to talk a little bit about their success, some highlights. We have a lot of former Huskers playing in both of these leagues, so let's just dive a little bit into it. Let's start with the Omaha Supernovas. They had a 2-0 start to their season with a 5-set win over Atlanta and a 3-0 win over Grand Rapids. Now, this win over Atlanta, it was absolutely incredible. I got to go. It was, their home opener, opening night, season opener in Omaha, and I got to go watch, and just the atmosphere was absolutely incredible. And it was also the pro debut for many former Huskers. We had Lindsay Krause, Allie Batenhorst, and Merritt Beeson all making their debuts. Allie Batenhorst had 6 kills in the game over Atlanta. And, she didn't start, which me personally, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping all the former Huskers would start. But, these teams are loaded and they are rookies, so they do have to earn their place. But Allie came in right away not right away, but came in later into the game and later in the third set. And she just started pounding them left and right. And I turned to my left, I turned to my right. Why isn't Allie starting? And everyone was like, exactly. So Lindsay Krause, unfortunately, she didn't have, she only came in to serve, and she missed a couple of her serves. Might have been a little nervous, she is from Omaha, or Papillion rather. So maybe a little nervous, but the coolest thing was when all these former Huskers were announced, just how loud the crowd was. Like, Nebraskans, we love our volleyball, and we love being able to see these players who, we cheered on at Nebraska, being able to cheer them on at Omaha. And that's something that's really cool about, pro volleyball now being in the U.S. In the past, these players would have had to gone overseas, but now they can come and play in their hometown, either their hometown or their college town, and just having all their friends and family there was really cool. And another player who definitely had some loud cheers despite being on the other team, Merritt Beeson, she was incredible at Nebraska, and she was making her pro debut on the Atlanta Vibe. She had a really good game. I'm sure she wanted to go out and put on a show. She had 17 kills against Omaha, and she also had 14 kills in the Vibes win over Vegas. They finished 1-1 to start out the season. So a really incredible opening weekend for our pro Huskers in the PBF. And that game on Friday in the CHI actually set another attendance record. Who can believe it that Nebraska has another volleyball attendance record? There were 13,486 people packed into the CHI. It was the most ever who had watched a pro volleyball game in the United States. So once again, Nebraska showing why they are the volleyball capital of the world. And another player who really stood out in that game and both of the Supernovas games, Brooke Nonaveller. Man, she is an absolute stud, had 22 kills and 15 respectively in their first two games. And she just absolutely lit it up. So that's going to be something that I guess we'll see throughout the rest of the season. You know, we've got Krause and Batenhorst who kind of are sitting behind Brooke Nonaveller. Going to be tough to come up and steal her playing time away, but an early season nonetheless. So we will see what the Supernovas can continue to do. They are the defending PVF champs, so we'll see if they can continue that success this year. Their next home game will be Sunday against San Diego at 3 p.m. And once again, we will see another former Husker, Layla Blackwell. She played at San Diego. She's back home with a pro team in her home state. So that's just really cool to be able to welcome another former Husker back home. And along with the PVF, League One also had their opening weekend. Omaha, yet another team. That's something that's so cool to have two pro volleyball teams here in the Cornhusker State. They won 3-0 against Houston in their opening games. Jaylee Winters led the way. Former Creighton standout with 13 kills, hit 460, had 2 blocks. And the former Huskers once again showed out here. We have Lauren Stivrins, Jordan Larson, Maddie Kubik, Justine Wangarantes, and Lexi Rodriguez, all signed with the Omaha League One team. Lauren Stivrins and Jordan Larson both had a really impressive opening night. They combined for 10 kills, 3 blocks, and 2 aces between the two of them. And something that was very interesting, I did not watch the game, but I heard that Lauren Stivrins played opposite, which, if you know Nebraska volleyball, she was always a stud in the middle, known as this, and always coming around on the Stivrins slide. So it very, very interesting to see her play opposite. I'm sure that has, there's a lot of depth on League One Omaha as well. So any position, we love seeing the former Huskers ball out, but I was sure it was very interesting for Nebraska fans to see Lauren playing a different position. But yeah, they continue their season. They will have a game against Madison Saturday night, 9 p.m. That game will be televised on ESPNU. So definitely tune in both Saturday and Sunday to watch the former Huskers. I believe Sunday's game for the Supernovas is on Nebraska Public Media. So definitely show up. If you can't make it out to the games, definitely tune in on TV and just continue the growth of volleyball here in the States. It's something that really has been on the rise the last couple of years, and it's just been incredible to see. But yeah, with that, that's going to do it for the first episode of Women's Sports Weekly. Thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you're tuning in. I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to be live on air starting Tuesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. You can tune in. Yeah, but for now, that's going to do it. This has been Women's Sports Weekly on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.